Good afternoon. I'm Brian Makris. I'm the president and CEO of Home Choice Lending, located here in Bedford, New Hampshire. And today we're on our Grit Matters. We've got another return guest here. We got Courtney Saunders, who's back in the game, and he's out there just giving us a little bit of an update on the market. So, Courtney, I want to thank you for coming in today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. So, couple things. You know, we were talking off camera here, and we're in the grind all the time. You're in the trenches. You're showing houses. I know you just got a couple under contract, which is great. And I know it's tricky out there. And I want to kind of throw out you a couple of things. Number one, market inventory. If somebody out there is thinking about buying a home right now or selling a home right now, this is the time. Inventory is extremely low. They need to call you. Is that right?
Absolutely.
So, and when you look at you know, everybody out there in this marketplace, how do you make yourself different? How do you get yourself so that that you're pricing it properly? You're finding the best way to get that customer's home on the market. Are you helping them with, hey, you got to declutterize, or does none of that even matter today? Is it like, hey, listen, here's a cardboard box, I can list it and sell it for $600,000? Are you still taking the steps to help get that home and guiding them on things that could be home inspection issues with FHA, or things that might be a challenge with VA, or is it, hey, a cardboard box is worth $500,000? Tell me, what are you doing these days?
Absolutely. So I am definitely still coaching people, especially on the buyer end, on the seller end as well, because, you know, obviously, you know, you want to make sure that you get that house on the market and then it's sold in a reasonable amount of time. People aren't used to seeing houses last more than, I don't know, I'd say 5 to 7 days at this point.
Correct, yeah.
So you want to make sure that, you know, you're going with the trend, but more importantly on the buyer end.
Okay.
And I think that's the most important thing going on right now, is that just you need a professional to be able to negotiate and coach you on how to get into that house, because it is extremely aggressive right now. Extremely.
Do you think it's tougher right now than it was last year, or about the same? And
No, I think it's tougher.
it's
Definitely.
tougher. Okay.
Less houses, more people moving in, the demand's higher, less houses. And you're just seeing, you know, when you're putting offers on, you know, usually, you know, in some cases you're going against 7 to 10 people. In this case, especially in southern New Hampshire, you may be going against 20 plus in some situations.
Okay,
you know.
so it's still tough. So I know that we have some under contract. We've got a clear to close. We just did a home start to finish. You managed to get it under contract. I think it was clear to close in 12 days, maybe 13 days, give or take, which is lightning fast in this industry.
Absolutely.
So I'll pat myself on the back for that. But that's a contract that was tough to win, and you're doing something a little bit different. You're making the phone calls, and I called the listing agent, and we're chatting with the listing agents. So you were in a competitive situation there, and you won that offer. For buyers out there that are frustrated because they can't get an offer accepted, this is something that they should be looking to do, is making sure that they're dealing with a top negotiator, a top agent, someone that is well known in the area. You find that is helping?
I think that's the difference.
That's
100%. That's the difference. And not only the good, you know, obviously you want a good realtor, but you need a good team, as we speak about all the time. You know, I mean, you need a lender in there, a good local lender that knows what he's doing, knows what he's talking about, has a great reputation, and that's where you come in. You know, so. Absolutely. Yeah,
we've been working together for a long time. One of the things that I think people are so concerned about is, you know, it's out there. We can talk about it. Interest rates have trended up ever so slightly. But, you know, you and I were talking off camera, as we talk all the time off camera, you know, sometimes before we do this, but just on a regular basis. You know, this is based off of a $475,000 loan. And at the end of the day, you know, the difference between a 0.5 point and a 3/4 point swing from where rates used to be to maybe where rates are or where they're trending. This is more so because I don't want people to think it's the end of the day. The world isn't exploding. It's, you know, a 3.5% interest rate was around $2,100 on a 475 loan. Now, if you go up a 1/4 point, it's $2,199. Not a huge swing there. It's $67 at the end of the day. And then if you go up to, you know, 3/4 point higher, you know, it's $200. I get it. $200 is $200 in interest. It's not going anywhere but to the bank.
Yeah.
But $200, you know, hopefully isn't making or breaking that purchase. That's a $475,000 loan. So if it's a $300,000 loan, that difference is even less. Are you finding that with these interest rates, is it a conversation with your customers like, oh my goodness, rates are going up, I need to hurry up and buy? And do they understand that, hey, I get it, $137 for a half a point swing in the rate is $137 the wrong way, but it's not a deal breaker.
Not the end of the world. Yeah, I do see a lot of people panicking in those situations. I try to prep talk them as best as I can. And if they're not feeling well, then I send them off to you.
Send them off, and then we kind of get them...
kind of relax them.
Get them kind of on track. So
yeah.
I want to talk, first of all, I don't think we usually touch too much personally, but I want to touch on who you are a little bit as a real estate agent. I also know you're a father, you've got a daughter. So tell me, when you're out there helping people get into houses and stuff, is it kind of one of those things where you're really, you're helping families, you're helping yourself out, you're helping families out? Do you have inspiration there? I'm kind of throwing this at you, but
sure.
But what motivates you? Because I know you grind, you get out there, you work, you make your phone calls, you send your notes, you're on social media. So what makes you tick? What keeps you motivated? Is it?
I don't look at it as a job.
Okay.
I love doing it, so,
okay.
Don't get me wrong, you have hard days as well.
Sure.
You have, I don't want to say the negative, but the tough that comes with it. But I actually enjoy doing it, and I think the best part is when you're in a situation where someone thinks something is impossible, especially a buyer,
sure.
and when you get to them to that table. I mean, there's other parts of it as well. I enjoy the grind, like I said, I enjoy the work, but also at the same time, I love seeing a buyer's face when I get them to the closing table. Sellers as well, obviously, if they think, for example, that they're only going to get a certain amount for their home, and then, you help them to get more, seeing that smile on their face at the end of the day, it's priceless.
Yeah, I remember I went to an open house that you had in Bedford, and your pricing strategy was to price it, spot on, not necessarily on the high side.
Yeah.
And I think you were telling me that went for about 75 grand over ask. It was a beautiful home.
About 100.
Yeah, or 100 grand over ask.
Yeah, almost 100.
$825,000 home. It was gorgeous. That's got to be a great feeling. I mean, when you can hand a customer an extra $100K.
Yeah.
That's a win.
That's a win.
That's a win. That changes their life. That changes what they're doing on their side.
Absolutely.
So in today's market right now, obviously inventory is a shortage. So if you're thinking about selling a home, this is the time.
This 100%.
Don't wait until June. Don't wait until the spring market. We're still officially in winter. Sell, call, get
right now. Yes, right now is the time. If you're thinking about selling, there isn't a better time.
Now, I know you have an investment property that you recently listed, and it's already sold, right? And actually, it just closed too, right?
Yes.
So that's a long-term customer. You've had her for a customer for a long time. She owns multiple investment properties. Tell me, do you know anything about the buyer on that property? I know it was an investment property. It cash flowed pretty well, right? Mm-hmm. Tell me a little bit about how you've worked with this customer and why she keeps coming back to you.
I think it's a matter of trust, and I think that's how it is really with, all my relationships. People want to know that they can trust you and that you have their best interests. And then once they have that, it makes the situation so much easier, and I think that's really everything in real estate. People need to know that they can trust you, that you're not just out to make a quick buck, that you're sincere. And you care about what happens with them. And obviously that you're knowledgeable. You have to know what you're doing as well.
Yeah. Well, you sold it in a week, and I think, that's a win. And I know you just recently closed, and you've done multiple transactions with her over the years. So she always keeps coming back. I think that is kind of the key piece. One is that you're accessible. I know you take my call when we need to, and I try to always take your call, nights, weekends. That's what we do. We signed up for this.
Yeah.
Is there anything out there right now in the marketplace that you think is going to be a game changer going forward? Is there anything that should I paint my house right now? Should I wait to put mulch out and freshen up my yard, and that'll be a game changer for that customer that's trying to sell their home? Is there anything, or is it at the end of the day, listen, there's no time like the present. Let's get that home on the market. Let's sell it now, and we'll find the next house. Is there?
I think right now is the best time just to, put it on the market.
Supply and demand.
Absolutely.
So
definitely.
There's not a lot of supply, and there's high demand. And that's allowing us. So the last thing I want to touch on is you work all over the state of New Hampshire, the territory that you cover.
Yeah.
Okay. Now you have associates that they cross the borders into Massachusetts. You
Yes.
have associates across the border into Maine. So is your company has multiple locations, but you handle
Yes.
all of the state of New Hampshire.
Yes.
So what's too far? Is the Lakes region too far for you?
No.
No.
I've been all over the place.
Got it. And I know that you're moving to Concord.
Yep.
So you're going to be kind of more in the middle of southern New Hampshire and that.
That was
northern
kind of
side.
part of the reason.
Yeah, you told me that off camera, that location just gives you the ability to really kind of do a 60-mile radius, which touches a little more of the lakes and a little more of southern.
Correct.
So, and that's just happening next month. I think in April you make that move, right?
Yep, absolutely.
All right, man, I'm psyched for you. Congrats.
Thank you.
So, really, I just want to thank you for coming in. So inventory is still low and we're still in the grind.
Yep.
So anything else that you want to add out there?
If you're looking for a professional, like I always say, make sure
Yeah.
you call me or Brian.
Yeah, definitely. So check us out on this podcast, and then if you are out there and you're just not quite sure, is this the right time, or you're not sure where you're going to move to, or you're not sure what an escalation clause is, or how to protect your earnest money deposit, Courtney's done 1 million transactions here. He's got the opportunity to be able to help guide you through that process. I highly recommend you reach out to him and start to basically create that relationship that he does so well with all his customers. So Courtney, I want to thank you for coming in today, and thanks for sharing your moments. I know you stopped in, and this is a great little snapshot of what's going on out there.
Again, thanks for having me.
My pleasure.
Appreciate it.